Well, I decided I'm going to do part two. I couldn't get to sleep. I'm looking at Facebook and I see that my freeloader, the guy that I had here for 4 months taken care of, massive infections, nearly died. His buddy actually died out on the street. He's out there cutting me up in the background like the rest of these narcissists. Okay? You can't do anything to please anybody these days. I don't understand the venom that's coming from this guy. He basically had me hostage here, is what it was. Like I was helping him, but you couldn't let him, you couldn't say a word edgewise to criticize what he was doing, or he'd flip out, start yelling, screaming, and then blame me for yelling, screaming. It was something bizarre. Anyway, he's gone. Phone is cut off. It's hot now. If he tries to sell it, it won't be able to sell it. So whatever happens, he wrote his own story, and I don't understand why he's not in his mother's house down there in the pier, big house down there. He's not allowed in. So I don't know what he's gonna do. It's not my problem anymore. I know one thing, that I got my own shit coming up. It's coming up this 27th at 9:30 in the morning at the court. And you know, one thing that I'm sure of about what's going to happen down there is that there'll be nobody there to back me up. Okay, there won't be a soul there. There'll be people that will watch this, and I'll tell you that the people that can't be talked about, can't be mentioned, they're after your children. Okay, they're grooming them. Okay, they're and right now there are kitty litter boxes in some schools to accommodate the mental illness of some of these children because they're identifying as cats. So keeping that in mind, when I go to court to make my plea this time, they're going to force me to make a plea, guilty or not guilty, on these hate charges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to court. I'm going to explain that this is a communist country now, and just it's ludicrous to even to suggest that we had this court hearing. If I slander someone or libel them, then there's a way to sue an individual, right? Not anymore. These snowflakes will melt if you say something to them, and they'll have you arrested. That's what's going on. So here's what's going to happen. If you want to come and see this, I'm going to make a statement if they let me. Basically, I'm going to change my gender right there in the courtroom. Non-binary. Non-binary, I'm going to say I woke up this morning, I felt like really that I'm a goat. Okay? So we'll see how that goes. And then be prepared, because non-binary means that the next day I could be a walrus or a camera. Imagine identifying as a camera. You can film everybody, right? Can't you get away with it? That's how stupid this is. So if you see my freeloader out there, cut me up in pieces. Ask him, who paid the shot. Oh yeah, I can't believe it. You treat somebody so well. He had pus coming out of his face, and his infection was off the charts. And I was the one that got him in to see the doctor the second time it flared up, to stop it immediately. They've got a code for homeless people or people with drug problems or addiction. They have a code on your chart. Okay? That's discrimination right there. And so I don't understand basically the logic behind people when you go out of your way to help them. There was nothing in it for me. basically just the fact that it helps to keep me sober. That's the only way. That's what way it works. But I'm disappointed more than anything. But when you start waving around knives and screaming some kind of nonsense, it's psychosis. That's how people go off the rails. And so beware. You better be prepared. I know every trick in the book when it comes to addiction. So there's no way this guy was going to fool me. He tried to fool me. He thought he was, but he wasn't. If I didn't want him to be here and to take care of him, he wouldn't have been here, period. Until I finally had enough. Like, you could tramp around Sydney in a snowstorm, supposedly being so crippled up that he couldn't do any work here. He couldn't do the floors or nothing like that. But he could tramp around Sydney when I wasn't here looking for marijuana or whatever in snowstorms. So that'll tell you right there, okay? Enough's enough. The phone's shut down. You could take a hike. Really, it's too bad, you know. It's too bad.